Are you puzzled by the project management statement? Can't tell the difference between goals, deliverables, and specifications? Wondering where you put tasks in the statement? In this video, I'm going to explain the differences between all of them and how they fit together so that you can prepare a great project scope statement. Hi, I'm Max van Belgoy, Assistant Professor in the Museum Studies program at George Washington University. For complex projects, you will typically prepare a project scope statement. It's a single document that brings together the major aspects of the project, defines the boundaries, and serves as a baseline for future decisions. You'll be referring to it frequently during your project, so you want to make sure it's well done and has everything that you need. It's like a mission and vision statement for your project. There are many different versions that exist, but the contents and organization are often similar. I'm not going to go through all the details here in this video. You can get them from books like Project Management Jumpstart or Project Management for the Unofficial Project Manager. On the job, don't get too fixated on the content, format, or organization of a project scope statement. You'll modify the templates for your needs at your museum. So in this course, we are using the example from Project Management Jumpstart by Kim Heldman. So let's go through that in more detail. When developing a project scope statement, there are three sections that are often confused: goals, deliverables, and specifications. While they are related and thus seem repetitive, they have different meanings and serve different purposes. So if you'll remember, in class I showed a diagram of a pyramid. The goals are at the highest level, and related to them are the deliverables, and for each goal there might be several deliverables, and then there are specifications. For each deliverable there can be several specifications. So just for the sake of this conversation, let's assume we're going to redo this office of mine to make it more efficient and creative and enjoyable. That's our goal. And there's lots of things we're going to do to make that happen. And so one of the deliverables is going to be new carpeting and a new wall color. So two deliverables. They're related to the goal, but they are deliverables. They're tangible. You can touch, see, feel them. And so that's why they're deliverables. They can actually be delivered to you. Specifications are how that work is going to get done, but it's not the same as a task, and that's where it often gets confused. In the project scope statement, there is no space for tasks. That's done in the Gantt chart, where you break down the work and you assign who's going to do it and when it's going to be done. Those where all the tasks go. In the project scope statement are the specifications. Again, it describes how things are going to be done, but differently. So let's go to the painting. So we know that's going to be one of our deliverables. How it's going to be done as a specification is, let's imagine I wanted a certain color. I went on to the Behr paint color website, and I'm looking through, and I decide I want to pick a green. And it's going to be breezeway. So that's number MQ321. So I will put in the specifications that the room will be painted in breezeway MQ3-21, manufactured by Behr, in an eggshell finish. So there are some other things that have to happen to get the walls painted. Someone has to buy the paint at the store. They have to put down drop cloths. They have to put the paint on the wall. Those are tasks. They're not specifications. Think about, if this helps, tasks are time-bound, whereas specifications are not. It doesn't matter when a task occurs, the specifications always apply, whereas with a task, they have to happen and be completed in a certain order by a certain time. So I don't know if that'll help you distinguish the difference between the two. So tasks would go on a Gantt chart because that has time on it. They don't go in the project scope statement. So that's specifications. Now, if you're in the museum field, what specifications can you use? Of course, you can write them all out as I did for the paint color, find it and tell them exactly what you want. But you can also do it by reference, and that's often the easiest to do. Museums have standards and best practices, policies and procedures already that they adopt, and they can use them by reference. So for example, one that everybody in class has, and I use in all my classes, is the standards from AAM, and you can refer to that in your specifications. And what I would suggest is take a deliverable and then write 2 or 3 specifications for that one deliverable. And then you'll see how this works. They're related to each other. So that's this. You can also, if you're doing an evaluation as part of your project, you can tell people that you're going to, you want them to meet the standards in the practical evaluation guide. In particular, you can tell them to follow, if you're doing a sample, how many visitors they're going to interview. You can tell them to look at table 5.3, and that tells you exactly how many people they should interview for different kinds of sampling error sizes, and that you want a sampling error rate of less than 3%, not 10%. If you're doing exhibition labels, you can refer to Beverly Sorrell's book and tell them, we're going to use these kind of labels, and they're described, was it a title label, an introductory label, is it a section label or a caption, all described in here for you. Those are specifications. If you're doing an educational program, often you say that you want it to meet the standards of the state for 5th grade in the social sciences or social studies. So those standards exist at the state level. You can also find it in a book. So if you're doing some work for, this is called Yardsticks by Chip Wood, and you can tell this is for children in the classroom ages 4 through 14. That's your age range you're working with. You can tell them, hey, for the 10-year-old kids, you're going to follow the guidelines in here for the kind of activities that students will be doing. If you're doing a collections project, I don't work in this area anymore, but I did 20 years ago, you can use museum registration methods. This is the 3rd edition, so it doesn't look like the ones that are used today, but in here are standards for example, if you're classifying paintings, drawings, or prints, there's a whole chapter on, what do you call these processes, or how are they constructed so it's consistent, or how to describe the condition of art objects. That's all in here as well. So, get that all straightened out as specifications. If you're doing exhibitions, you're probably doing construction work. Those standards exist at the city and county level, and the state and international level. There are standards for electrical work or plumbing or wall construction. You can all put those in there as specifications. So I hope that explains the difference between specifications and tasks. Tasks, again, don't go in the project scope statement, but in the Gantt chart. And there should be one goal, several goals you're doing a complex project. Each of those goals may have several deliverables or outputs, and each one of those deliverables will probably has at least one, but probably several specifications. What I'm going to ask you to do in our course, I don't want you to do all the deliverables and all the specifications. I just want to know that you can tell the difference. So take one deliverable and then show me 2 or 3 specifications for that deliverable. I've talked with some students about doing it differently, combining those 2 sections and writing it out as deliverables and specifications and putting them together. If that's easier for you to do, you're welcome to do it that way too. I hope that helps. And if you have any more questions, talk to me after class. See you then. Bye-bye.